We are Flake Rose and Spirits, and we are Supremely Black. I'm gonna ask y'all how y'all doing after I just say what I gotta say, because I got something to say, so it's gonna be a little bit different this week. I think a lot of times what we don't do is, as man, especially Black man, we don't express our feelings like that. So today was I don't want to say trying because I'm relieved now and I'm refreshed, but I was heavy today for a certain extent. And so when I took a shower earlier today, I had my headphones on and I was listening to gospel music, but I just broke down in tears and crying because I just felt the weight of everything on me. But after getting that out, I feel amazing. I feel good. I feel refreshed. I feel relieved. I feel less weight on my shoulders. So one, I just wanted to share that because I feel like as Black men, we don't share or talk about the times where we do break down and cry or where we are going through heavy moments. And so I just wanted to say that before I allowed y'all to tell me how y'all week been and what y'all been going through or whatnot. And then to talk about my week was amazing. My brother and sister, but sister-in-law just for conversational purposes, but she's my sister. But my sister-in-law with my nephew and niece came down and visited. They was going to a friend's wedding in San Antonio, but they came home for a minute, so I got to see them, and I don't get to see them too often because they live in Colorado. So got to chill with them, went out with my sister and them, significant others and stuff like that, and had a good time and partied and chilled, some things that we don't get to do often and much. So that was a blessing. Got to spend time with my nephew and niece that I don't get to see on a regular. So that was a blessing. I had my children this weekend, so that was a great thing, just seeing them grow, but then also seeing them with experiencing life with their cousins and enjoying each other's company, and then just fellowshipping with family and all that stuff. That was a beautiful thing. So that's how my week been. How y'all week been, fellas? And sorry for interrupting the flow of how we normally work.
I know, it's all good, man.
But appreciate y'all allowing me to do that as well.
Yes, sir. My question is, as you got that cry in the shower, did you get a chance to take a nap after that?
Nah, I ain't had no nap today, so no nap.
Hey, sometimes when you feeling heavy, you get that good cry out, and you get that good little 30-minute to an hour nap afterwards. Man, let me tell you, come back refreshed and renewed. You hear me?
Nah, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, sometimes, but yeah, you're right. You're right. Sometimes we don't talk about our feelings. Sometimes we don't get to share that type of things like that when we gotta let out a good cry. But you know, men cry too sometimes. We just do it in the shower so y'all busters won't see the ugly face. That's all it is to it. That's how we gotta do it. But my week has been great as well. We have got rid of the tenderonis, so everything is all good in the hood. Back at 100% and flowing with that. I almost had another tenderoni scare with the youngest one, but they came back all right. So that was good. It was just a little mild cold, you know. And then your boy been going at it, done lost 15 pounds. So, you know, we getting back on the track to get back right, get rid of this pandemic weight that I put on. I said once I got done recording my album, I was gonna go back. I didn't reverse. Some people try to get in shape before they record the album. I said, nah, I want everybody to see how the pandemic did you, boy. You know, we all out here fat, then gain weight, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I thought after that's over with, that I did the album record, I've been back in the gym, just came back from the gym not too long ago. Today was kind of sluggish though, because I was, you know, holiday weekend, your boy was kicking and partying. I got to running, and your boy was tired a whole lot quicker than usual. So, but other than that, man, the week has been great. Got some, especially getting hype a little bit because here, not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm gonna go to Chicago and get to share some of these jokes in Chicago over the weekend. So, man, I'm looking forward to that, and can't wait, man. Just overall, had a good week. Got to kick with my brother for a little while. Um, and he done moved up here, so we got to hang out for a little bit on Saturday night, and you know, he get to kick it in the city of Nashville and act a plum fool. So that was good. I just can't hang out like that no more. I cut up out of there about 12:30. D-Rose.
Yeah, my week been good, man. But I love to see it. Them 15 pounds and drop. Boy, you went from a C cup last week to about a B cup now. So you
try to get rid of
though.
them heavies.
Yeah, get them up off you, boy. But nah, man, everything been solid, man. I salute Spears for it. I'm gonna say that I think Rod Wave will appreciate this episode because honestly, today I got a text message from my homeboy, and it made a real one shed a couple thug tears, man. I just caught myself just thinking because you really just never know your impact. So just to kind of share it, my brother 50, he has a huge impact within the community, and he has the ability to reach out to the youth. So he was able to speak with his mentors and his accountability coach, and they were, I guess, assisting doing something within the community. And he had shared that he had played a clip, maybe it was from our podcast or one of the stories or whatever. And he said he noticed a shift in the room, and a lot of the kids was like, wow, so this is where this guy came from. So I don't know what he shared, but I just say that to say this is that I don't think sometimes we really realize our impact, and that you being vulnerable makes you actually easy to, people are able to relate to you more when you are vulnerable, because I think a lot of us walk around with this mask on that's either going to be perceived as tough or perfect. But when bro hit me with that, I couldn't do anything but like for 5 minutes, like I had to, like Flake said, the ugly cry. I was just over here. It really caught me because at the end of the day, I'm just a little boy from the hood that wasn't really supposed to make it out, and definitely wasn't going to be inspiring nobody by anything that I said. At least that's what I thought. If you'd asked me at 12 or 13, that's just what it was. But bro hit me with that. Now, like I said, that turned my day around. I didn't get the nap in, but I did get the shower, so it was very appreciative after that. But week's been solid, man. Just working, grinding, staying in tune, staying in touch with all the people that are very important to me, and loving and living. I can't complain at all.
So I know you said outreach. I mean, I know you said impact, but I also want to say outreach, because the outreach that you have individually, but then also collectively with Supremely Black and everything, sometimes because we aren't doing some of the things that we might aspire to be, or because sometimes we just think that we're not who we really are, we diminish our impact and outreach that we really have on the world and on our community and on our culture. So I just wanted to also throw that word in there, because sometimes, you know, just being who we are and, you know, wanting to be perfectionists and wanting to get a certain level of people to listen or to tune in or to hear our message or our story and stuff, we may negate it because we ain't seeing what we really want to see. But the stories like that are the stories that really matter, and the only stories that matter. It's not like if we get to the masses, but the masses just hears, but they ain't really taking it in and taking heed to what we're saying. It's that shit that really matter, and that's important and that's effective. So I just wanted to say salute to you, salute to 50, and salute to them children or them kids or them young man, whatever they are, because I'm not trying to disrespect you by calling you a kid if you're a young man or whatever, but salute to y'all, and we appreciate y'all, and know we out here fighting this fight for y'all, with y'all, and because of y'all, because without y'all, we ain't nothing, because we used to be y'all. And so salute to that, but then also salute to y'all brothers, because y'all been doing it, so.
For sure. Salute.
Yeah, find out what clip that was. I want to hear what clip. I want to know what clip it was he
I
played.
got you. I'm gonna ask him, see what he actually
find
played.
it out. All right.
But let's go ahead and just dive into this topic, because today it's a topic for you. So let's just get into it. Do Black people deserve, and I'm gonna be all the way raw with it, motherfucking reparations? Do we, not even deserve, are we owed what's due to us? And because I said what's due to us, y'all already know my stance, but I'm gonna let my co-host go ahead and tap in first and let me know how they feel about if reparations are something that we deserve, that we're entitled to, that is basically a fucking birthright in my eyes. How do y'all feel about it? Or what is y'all ideology about reparations?
Well, when you did the question at first, I was gonna say something vulgar, but I can't say that. I was gonna say one of them old school uncles. They'll tell you stuff. You ask them something that's obvious. Boy, and I'm just gonna say it's a pork chop pork. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna clean it up and say I can just hear one of my old uncles saying that, my granddaddy saying that, but I could put it out on this platform.
Nah, you could have said it's water wet. We would have known. We would have known.
Yeah,
It's water wet.
But yeah, we deserve it. Yeah, we deserve it. They know it's owed to us. Will they ever give it to us? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever live to see it. They know it's owed to us. So hell yeah, we deserve it. We deserve every bit of it. I mean, you can't just even like people like to use college sports as slavery before they start paying the college students. But the thing was, those college players got something in return. It might not have been money, but they got a 4-year education they could use. They got experience they could use. They had, free food, room board. They had their freedom during the summer times, to do what they need to do. They even had their freedoms during the school year. And then they preparing themselves to eventually make a large lump sum of money after that. I don't think you can compare the two to that. People ain't being slaughtered on fields, tennis courts, baseball fields, basketball courts. When they go to college, do these things. We talking about Black people that was bought, sold, killed, raped, given leftovers, barely had clothing. It's not like it was a resource that they was protecting and taking care of us or anything like that. But I mean, the short answer for right now, hey, yeah, we deserve our reparations. It should be no doubt about it. It shouldn't be no question about it. If you was a man, I'll put it like this. If you was a person born in the United States of America as a citizen, as a Black African American or a native of America, because I believe they might have been in bondage as well, but we don't hear about that as much, then you deserve to get your reparations. I mean, we know, those have done research, that Black people was here before so-called that guy Christopher Columbus came over here. But let y'all tell in y'all history books the story y'all want to write is that was nobody here except the natives. So in other words, then how in the world did all the rest of these Black folks get here under the story that they pass out? So with that being said, when they have a question, well, we don't know who's descendants of slaves. Now, from the history books y'all like to write and the stories y'all like to tell, that's the only way we could have got over here. So therefore, every Black person that was born in the United States as a citizen is a descendant of somebody's slavery. Just had the same damn energy that you've been putting in them history books for hundreds of years.
No, but even with what you said, let's be real. Even the natives of this land, the indigenous people, became enslaved. So
Yeah.
regardless if we came from the transatlantic slave trade or if we was here first, you still a slave. So anybody with melanin deserves some fucking reparations. So so it don't matter if you're gonna say descendants of slaves, whatever. Any way you put it, anybody with color, y'all locked up, chained, killed, murdered, disrespected.
And then on top of that, and the thing is, people like, man, slavery was so long ago. That was so long ago. I don't even know why we talk about reparations. But it just, slavery might have ended. But we had a whole long Jim Crow era where Black people couldn't get paid the same amount of money, where Black people couldn't get we weren't created equal during that time either. So I mean, let's just not act like slavery was over with, and then we instantly was like millionaires on the block. Nah, they ain't had this happen. So Nero.
Yeah, because I know there's going to be some follow-up questions. I definitely think that Black people are definitely deserve the reparations for sure. Just as it's been in previous years, I mean, Jewish people were paid back for their times during the Holocaust, and the indigenous people that you all speak about, they have their own territories, and still, claims within this. So of course, I mean, I keep it simple because I know we're gonna really dive into it. But yes, we deserve and should have already been given reparations.
So y'all know how I feel. We deserve reparations, and as Rose said, we should already been given reparations. However, since all of that's been stated, Flakes made good points. I touched on it a little bit and said how I feel. Rose made it short and sweet. This is my next question. What would please you or be suffice in today's terms for reparations if Biden passed the law, or if, because the person who really for us, if Bernie was in office or whatever, or if Bernie could even, because he's still fighting the fight and trying to get legislation passed in certain aspects of how he feel and how he agree, if he could get reparations written into law or a bill for us for reparations, what would be sufficient enough for y'all to say they did a damn good job, or for y'all to say this is disrespectful? Because 40 acres and a mule are not gonna cut it no more. It's just not. So what would y'all say is pleasing to y'all, but then also what would also be a slap in the face that y'all be like, I don't want that shit, even if they tried to make what they call amends for the bullshit that we've been through?
Now, we might have to disagree a little bit on some spirits, but I will say this before I get into that. Bob Johnson said we are owed $2.54 trillion. I hadn't broke down how they would equate to each black family or each black person yet. But we'll start there and say that I can't say I agree with it, like I said, because I don't know how much that equate to each black family or black person that will receive their money, or each person of color. I'm gonna disagree and say the 40 acres is not gonna work, because I say it will work. I say it will work depending on where you give us that land. Don't give us 40 acres by the volcano. That ain't gonna work, by a volcano or something like that. But I tell you what, you give us some good land in Montana, Wyoming, hell, you give us some in California, some places got plenty of land. There's plenty of land in California, plenty of land in Florida, plenty of land in Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota,
Texas.
Utah, Texas. There's plenty of land that's untapped, not being used. If you give black people 40 acres in certain areas, in certain parts of the states, where it's like, you know what, we're gonna get all these black folks. I know we don't want segregation, but I tell you what, all the black folks in Tennessee, we got this large lot of land. Boom, 40 acres for you, 40 acres of D-Rose, 40 acres Spears, 40 acres Flake, 40 acres of whoever in this area, and watch black folks turn it into something.
Time out.
All right.
And the reason why I say 40 acres ain't gonna work is because somebody owns that land. Now, it would be different if there was still a lot of land.
They took land from indigenous people. They took land from black folks. They took land from indigenous people. Shit, hey, give it up. Hey, look here,
I'm not disagreeing with that point.
Kicking you off the land with your tractor because your ancestors stole land from African Americans, or stole land from indigenous people. We giving it back to the black folks, just like they doing with the beachfront property in California. Hey, y'all finna just give it up.
And agreeing, I'm not disagreeing with they stole, but what I'm saying is somebody owns that right now.
People don't own every piece of land in America.
Time out.
Every piece of land in America is owned by somebody.
Yes, there's not too much land owned by the government. There's a lot of land owned that's untapped, that is resourceful, owned by individuals or corporations, but they're not doing nothing with that land because they're waiting on somebody to come in and buy the land. So therefore, that's why I say 40 acres and a mule won't work, because we don't know, because I don't know the numbers exactly, but I don't know how many millions of black folks there are in America to divide up whatever's left of America. And I don't think everybody would be able to get 40 acres and a mule, because not only does that not fall to me, you, and Rose, that falls to our descendants. So then therefore, everybody who's born right now, your daughters, my children, they get 40 acres and a mule too. So it just don't fall under you. It falls under everybody who's birthed. So then therefore, because they're descendants. So therefore, splitting that up, I just don't know if there's enough land to split up 40 acres of mule for all the millions of people, of Black people that there are.
I would say this, because it doesn't necessarily have to be 40 acres, but to Flake's point, so we could just keep it going like that, I think that the land is needed because that's houses, that's schools, that's anything that you would actually like to do with, that's farming, which is something that was, stripped away from us when the land was taken from us. So I think it's a lot of, I don't think 40 acres and a mule is the ultimate all in be all, and that's just going to end the conversation. But I definitely think that land would be a very pivotal point in moving forward, even from now. It's like, we need that from farming, schooling, hell, if there's want to be another Black Wall Street that's untapped or what have you, that's that. But that's just one of them that I think is be very helpful as land, because I don't think it's just money, which is what a lot of people want.
And
prime example, we got an episode that's coming up that's gonna talk about how land was taken, and folks are like, all right, we're gonna $500, we taking it anyway. So the government got it in their power to do what they need to do. Now, will they do it? Probably not. But I mean, we got, I ain't trying to, well, never mind. We can't do Puerto Rico like that. But I mean, if they say global warming is real, Alaska's gonna be beachfront property pretty soon. Don't you worry about it.
True. But the flip side of that is giving us 40 acres and a mule, if we don't have no resources or money to put anything on that land, how good is that land to us?
But see, I think, go ahead.
Because what we would be doing is what we talked about in the previous episode. We'll be selling it. We'll be buying it back. We'll be giving it back to the people. Therefore, to get some money in, because what we lack is the revenue, the actual capital. And so if they give us 40 acres, but we can't put no properties on it, we can't put no houses on it. Again, like you said, Rose, we don't know how to farm no more. Like, we don't know any trades or anything to help cultivate that land. A lot of us will be selling it right back to the people that we just got it from.
I would say this. I'm not going to say that we don't know how to farm. It is something that we've gotten away from, and I know you've done some history, some research on it, but Black farmers were targeted purposely to not go through them, so they would go to the point of, hey, we get away from our resources. Because when you think about it, it's like them little small little towns, it's a bunch of families that still farm. Black people were shut down because they started stripping them of their resources, or they were going through damage on their property, or it was burnt down. There was a bunch of different stuff that was targeted to them to force them to sell the land. So when you think about being surrounded by your people for blocks and blocks, unless you just got a hater in the mix of you all, farming shouldn't become an issue, because Black people still, my uncle them still got a full garden behind their house. My great uncle them to this day, like, I'm pretty sure that's on both sides of the family. They know how that's working, but they know how. I just think that since we're of an era that wasn't really endorsing it, a lot of people don't realize why they were forced to sell that land, because they come with, even like with our family, me and Flake, we had a conversation with my grandmother, and it could be going down the line and they may not know who owns the land. So somebody, knock on wood, something happens to happen within our family, we just gotta hope that it ain't somebody that's actually over that contract of that land, and that they can't come in and just take it because they know property taxes being paid, so-and-so really didn't have this taken out, or did they already sell it and you still thinking that we own the land because of we got a road that says, hey, this is your people. So it's a lot of underlying issues that I think if people focus on the knowledge part of it, if we're provided with the resources, I definitely think that there's a lot of Black farmers that would love to have 40 acres and would have that thing jumping.
And
without restriction.
One thing that you touched on is the property tax.
Yeah.
You still gonna have to pay property tax, and people ain't ready to pay that for 40 acres. And that property tax on 40 acres is gonna be a bitch.
Depending on where you at though, because like if you somewhere in like country Tennessee or down South Georgia, it's not what people think. Like for the amount of acres, like Boosie down there, like just to use him, not to be using a celebrity, but he's not paying that much for that spot he got down there right outside Atlanta. And he found that in the middle of nowhere.
But is he on 40 acres?
Yeah, Boots on like 30 or 40 acres, bro. He got a lot.
Yeah,
Then he bought like 10 more to the side of him. Yeah, bro. Yeah, when he came out, he did his thing down there. I think it's like, I want to say it's Douglasville. Whatever's like his little country town is close to Atlanta, and that's where he bought his crib at. And I think he said he got the 30 he owned, and then he just bought the other plot beside him, and that's another 10 to 20 acres. So Boots out there about 50 acres.
But he still has the resource to
Yeah. I'm following on that.
And then another thing that you said, and then I'm gonna let you go, Flake, I'm sorry. Another thing that you said is though, that our uncles and Black farmers who actually grew up in that and know that would love it. But we gotta talk about the masses. The masses ain't really gonna be trying to till or plow or turn no 40 acres to get nothing. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be some who say, fuck it, because I know the value in this and I know I got access to something that I never would have had before, but it's still a lot of us that's just gonna be like, I can't do this, this too much. This ain't even what I wanna do. I don't aspire to be a farmer. Like, so, and then they're gonna be trying to sell it and trade it. But Flake, say what you gotta say, and then let's get back to answering the question about what would be what you would accept from the government, and then what would be what you wouldn't accept from the government.
What I was gonna say is that's your prerogative. If they give you 40 acres, you want to sell it. That's on you. But it's the same thing if they give us cash money. They give us cash money, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna go right back into the company. You're gonna spend that money, you're gonna go out and buy a house, you can go out. Well, I'm just saying with some people, not all. Some people gonna go out and buy a house, they're gonna do this. Some people ain't gonna flip it. Then you're gonna be looking at your little cousin John like, bro, why you didn't invest? Why you didn't do stocks? Why you didn't save it? Why you didn't do XYZ? You're gonna see little John with the $40,000 watch on, sitting on 28s, and that's just gonna happen. That's just gonna happen. I'm sorry.
PPP all over again.
PPP all over again. You know what I mean? But I'll be honest, my answer was like, for right now, without doing the research on how much that 2.74 trillion or 2.54 trillion, whatever that is for each person, I'll take 40 acres. Me personally, I can only speak for myself because I got family members that got gardens, that do farming. You got to think, I come from country town, Tennessee. So we gonna make it do what it do. I can do a lot with 40 acres. They could be the family land, and we have family unions. We going out there. We can set up some farmland. We can do whatever we need to do out there to get stuff going. So me personally, I mean, that ain't what all I can take. If I can get a better deal, please believe me, I'm gonna take the best deal. What was a slap in the face? I heard one person had come out and say one point in time to say every Black person should get free college tuition. I thought that was just the dumbest thing ever right there. I just thought that was pretty stupid. I said, that ain't nothing but, depending on what school you go to, they ain't nothing but $50,000. Man, come on, man. I ain't saying nothing. $50,000 is a lot, but when we talking about compared to reparations and how much money was profited off the backs of slaves, $50,000 is like $2.
Yeah, I would say this. I think for me, for me, it would be is of course the land, everything being debt free, me being able to start a business free of charge with the capital and everything to cover until it's profitable, and so what is it? And I would think for people, honestly, free education. So if you wanted to do college or what have you, I think that would be important. A slap in the face to me is what we're doing now, sitting here rambling about what we think could actually happen. That's the worst that could happen, is that it's been nothing done about reparations, when we could talk about other ethnicities that have been provided this because they know for a fact that their people were wrong. That's it.
And for me, it's a little bit deeper. So for me, it will be everything that would add equity to our lives. So therefore, free education. If and only if you want to go to higher learning or whatever. So therefore, at any college, so I don't care if your college is $50,000 a year, I don't care if your college is $250,000 a year, free for any person. And as they did it, the one drop rule. I don't care if you got one drop of blackness in you, it's free for you. 10 acres. So then therefore, everybody gets land, everybody has access to property. $5 million. So then therefore you have capital and resource to do whatever you want in your land, to invest in whatever, to give to your business, to create a business, to do whatever you want. Then also free healthcare for however old you are up to that point. So if I'm 35 right now, I get 35 years of free healthcare, because at the end of the day, y'all have devalued me, diminished me, made me go through certain things and all this other stuff. Swipe my credit clean credit. So therefore, if I fuck up my credit now, it's on me. But because I know better, because I have these resources and this access to things, I am at an equitable level to play the same game that y'all been playing for 400 plus years. Then also, legislation changes. So police reform, constitution reform, or amendments added to the Constitution to make certain things different. And the last thing I will say is, free non-violent and non-sexual offenders in the prison system that are Black. Let them all out immediately. And that's what I would say would be sufficient reparations for us, because you can't just touch on one part and skip the others, because at the end of the day, the reason why we're in this rabbit hole or this ditch that we're in is because they might have cut off a foot, but they allowed you to climb the ladder somewhere. But if you don't have it all, in all honesty, unless you have certain people to help lift you up, or unless you have certain resources or certain access, you're gonna be right back where you begin. So everything needs to be addressed and not just one thing. And that's why I say everything that I said would be sufficient enough for us.
Well, hell, I thought we was just talking about just one thing at first and then go deep into it. Hell, I named one thing, and I bitch folks like Jay Flake crazy as hell. That's all he want is one thing. Hell, I know we was doing a whole wish list out here. Shit, I sure would have dropped some more stuff. So yeah, if we're gonna do the land, yeah, I want money, and I want free education. But when I said that was like the craziest thing, I felt like slap face. Somebody just offered the free education, and that was it. Like that should be it. I don't want to pay no taxes either.
Yeah, I'm with you on the taxes, but when you think about free schooling, though, if you got somebody that's going to be like a doctor or a lawyer, that's going to be about a half a ticket, like going through school in the time. Like, so I mean, I get what you're saying, just not the only thing, but for people that do value degrees, because like when you think about it from a doctor and a lawyer perspective, it is needed. I mean, better than nothing. Not, you know what I'm saying? But I feel what you're saying, though.
I was thinking about no taxes. The only reason why I said I didn't bring it up is because when you think about how much taxes mean to a community, so therefore, I'm not opposed to paying taxes to help my community out, because I'm gonna live in the community where I grew up at or where I'm from or whatever. I'm gonna give back to, like we say, buy the block back. I'm gonna give back to them, because without the resources of all of us paying taxes in the communities that we're from, we would be siphoning and taking away from education, food banks, all this other stuff, and natural resources in those communities, because we're all living tax-free. And you know, white folks ain't gonna come back and, you know, give, because they're not living in that zip code, so they don't have to pay taxes there.
Hey, I paid every son like tithes and offering, cuz.
Yeah, and yeah, but in all reality, it's not even just somebody of a different ethnicity, because we have people within our own tribe that wouldn't give back to their community if they weren't held to a standard of having to. You know how that go. We've been in several discussions around people that feel as if that, once they've left, that they've turned their back, they don't understand. They're detached. Let me say that because they do understand, but they're definitely detached from what it feels like to be in those poverty-stricken environments. So I wouldn't even just blame white folks. Sometimes you got to just call us out on some of the stuff that we would actually avoid purposely, just because, so I could say, look at Lil D Rose down there. I mean, that's just what it is.
Right.
We sometimes our own biggest enemy when it comes to that.
Don't call that. Call that shit what it is. Shit. Don't say stuff. Call
Yeah,
that shit what it is.
Shit. Yeah, but man, yeah, it's just, yeah. It was something else I was gonna say too, but I left that alone.
Just give a little background.
Yeah.
Just give a little background on this whole reparations thing. As America has done before, in 1946, the natives were given $1.4 billion, but they only turned out to be 1,000 per Native American. And it was placed in a trust fund that was held by the government. The government was accused of mishandling that trust fund. So who knows what happened to that money? Most natives are saying those casinos on their land has been more profitable than this reparations that they gave for the $1.4 billion they put in that trust fund or whatnot. Then who knows what happened with that? Also, after World War II, they paid $20,000 to each survivor of the Japanese internment camps. So if you was in the Japanese internment camp and you survived it, you was paid out $20,000. Also, Germany even had the heart to pay $86 billion to Israel in reparations for the Holocaust. Now, they don't mention the United States having their hands in this a little bit, but truth be told, the word on the block is the United States had their hands a little bit in paying Israel for giving some money for the Holocaust, which I believe they have because a lot of those people that was in Germany that was a part of that was brought over here to be scientists for our space programs as well. So,
but who also runs the entertainment industry?
Yeah.
So I
mean, but then also, who is the spy for us in the Middle East and in Africa and all this other stuff?
Yeah.
So I believe it.
Of course they did. I scratch my back, you scratch mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know how it go. You know how it go. Yeah, you know how it goes. So it's not like they can't give it to us. And also just think about a lot of people, because this was the thing that we spoke about as far as a lot of these people running for president and whatnot. The reparations conversation came up since we've had elections. Reparations ain't been talked about since then. Not as, at least not as heavy as it was when we had the election year. But they were always, the complaint was America doesn't have the money to give reparations to the slaves. But as soon as COVID hit, all of a sudden checks was cha-chinging just out the blue. So as of a year ago, October of 2020, the United States has given out 2.54 trillion in COVID relief funding. And that number has definitely went up because, like I said, that was a year ago. And they still handing out COVID relief funding. They still giving out food stamps. They still giving out child credits. They still, each state is still giving out unemployment to an amount where people are not even going back to work. They just living on their unemployment until they just cut it completely off. They're giving out PPP loans that you don't have to pay back. So all of a sudden, this money that these trillions of dollars that they don't have, all of a sudden has appeared to be paid on COVID relief. Not saying COVID relief is not needed. So I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that the argument of not having the check to cut is false. It's false.
And I was gonna bring that up because I was just looking up on my phone the percentage of African Americans in the United States, and we only make up 13%. So then therefore, if you could cut a check for all these people for the shit that Flake keep talking about that we said we wasn't gonna talk about no more, and he keep bringing it up. and name
I had
drop
to.
them.
Well, shit, I had to at this point because I mean that drives the point home. That right there drives the point home.
And keep name dropping it. But
My
that
bad,
vid,
Ronan.
Hey, hey, at this particular point, they might well go on to put him as a sponsor. He done got the shot. He dropping it every episode. He is a proud supporter of the jam. That's it. Just
call me Little Fizzy 2 times, man. Call me Little Fizzy 2 times.
JF19 is his new name. That is it. JF.
I'm just driving the point home. And then on another episode, I can say why I got what I got. Why I got the Little Fizzy 2 times.
But what I was saying was we make up 13%. If you cutting the check for everybody because of a pandemic and an epidemic going on for everybody, then therefore you could have gave reparations to 13% of American people. And so, as you stated, Flake, 2.7 trillion or whatever.
2.5 trillion.
2.5 trillion, but I'm gonna say 2.7 because inflation, and we probably need to pull it up to about 4 trillion for us though, and what we deserve. Split between 13% of America versus all of America who file their taxes or whatever to get what they got from the government. Then you could do 13% of America, and you could have been cut us a check and ran us our money for what we deserve, what is owed to us, what is our fucking birthright, what we did to build this country. This country was built on the backs of my ancestors, my forefathers, my grandmothers. This country was built on the back of Black queens raising their kids, breastfeeding their kids, parenting their kids. This country was built on our blood, our sorrow, our turmoil, our strength, and our culture. So if you want to do all of that, run us our money, give us our bread, and it should have been cut. And when you could do this for a pandemic that still to this day ain't knocking out more people than what the flu is, my sisters and brothers, y'all really got life fucked up. And that's all I gotta say about that.
Need that 14 trillion, like Bob Johnson said, give us that 14 trillion. I'm telling you what's funny though, like in slavery, if a slave had slept in a white person's bed, they would burn their bed. But they was good enough to give you all that good old titty milk though. That's crazy as hell. That's crazy. Hey, that's the craziest mess I've ever heard in my life. You gonna tell me I can't share food, rag, cups, none of that with you, but my baby can suck on that slave titty though. You got to be the craziest thing I've heard in my life.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there, man. Well, yeah, Flake, what did you have? Experience? Did y'all have another question in regards to?
Nah, don't say what you got to say. You got me fired up out here, man.
Nah, I see you fired up. I wasn't really gonna say nothing, but it's just the thought of that is that raise them, cook for them, breastfeed them, but I'd be damned if you sleep in my bed. Like, oh, okay, like just make it make sense, dog. Like that's it. Spirit, what was your question though? Did you have another question for?
Nah, I really didn't have another question because we basically covered everything. But I guess I do got one more. If we never see reparations, are you bothered? Does it affect you? Do you feel some type of way? Or is it just you go on about your everyday life?
My honest truth is that just from prior conversations and just the people that I'm very, very blessed to be around, I could honestly say I don't think that it will be needed if everything goes as planned, if we stay focused and intentional amongst each other, it would be a little bit disheartening, but just to the people that are listening, that's not going to make or break us. Because I mean, honestly, we've been doing it this long. I just think that, you know, if this is a conversation, if this is something that people really want, just look at ways that where we could actually make it our own thing to give ourselves our own reparations. And that starts with keeping everything like we've talked about before within our community. And if we continue to do that and do it even more, the conversation wouldn't necessarily be needed. Now, should we have gotten them? Absolutely. So I'm not negating that fact at all. But the most important part is keeping it within the village. And then when they start seeing that that money is coming here, it's kind of hard to stop, because then now we start to pour those billions and trillions that we spend into our own communities. And that kind of replaces the oppression per se, because now we have the dollars to combat all the things that we say that we don't have. Money solves that.
I'm gonna feel some type of way, but as the old saying goes, you never miss what you never had. I will say this also: every kingdom has a time that it will fall. As America now is being known as the greatest country on planet Earth, if it's not done, it will kick back and the American kingdom will fall. Will Black people be here when that happens? Who knows? We might be gone and move somewhere else. Not saying that's gonna happen. Not saying it's a plan out there, but I mean, the Egyptian kingdom has failed. Rome has failed. So you know, America won't always remain at the top, and it's probably shaving a lot of years off of America being at the top if you don't correct all the wrongs you have done and keep trying to sweep everything under the rug that has happened.
I mean, if you just to kind of speak to your point, if you're watching real close without saying too much, the paradigm is definitely shifting. And they're taking every step possible behind agendas to make sure that things don't go too far right or left that's outside of their control. So paradigm is definitely shifting.
What Nero saying is white folks ain't having kids and people of color is taking over the whole country.
I don't think that's the biggest one. I really think that's key when it comes to the reproduction. But when you think about the internet era has provided so much knowledge and resources that now you can no longer just hide behind it not being resources of people that you cannot connect to.
Right.
And young people are touching money way faster than we was even touching. I'm only 30. So it's like, it's only so long that you can just dangle that carrot of just having money. Then now the whole focus or the shift would be is, as the paradigm shifts, is how do we put ourselves in power to make those calls to where we make sure that we take care of our own no matter what, just like they've aligned everything. But the reproduction
people of color making power moves. If you looked at the most recent election, you started to see people that's taking certain seats. You started to see people take seats that you wouldn't think they would actually be there. So
not even just from an election point, since we're going deeper with it, I'm honestly thinking from a mindset is I don't think that I've seen the people that it's not necessarily as looking at it as, hey, give me something. It's more or less we going out and taking it because we see that it is a piece of pie for everybody to get out here. That's where I'm looking at it as, like, it's not even the same mentality. Like, we talk to I can talk to me and you can go talk to your mom and my grandmother right now, and they'll probably call us crazy for some of the stuff that we'll say. Like Dick Gregory said, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's a whole different, that paradigm is shifting. So, you know, we just unruly and say everything generation, how they see it. Yeah.
But what I do want to say is, I don't know if y'all have been watching, but the thing that they're trying to do to offset that they're not making no children and that they're not reproducing and that their numbers are diminishing is classifying other ethnicities as Caucasian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Moving
this
them
ain't the first time.
Moving them to the Caucasian or white sector and trying to inflate their numbers. So that is something that you also got to be mindful and careful of, because when they do that, they start giving them other cultures that privilege, and then therefore them other cultures turn their backs on the disenfranchised and the marginalized. And then therefore they start sticking their noses up at us and others because they feel like they got certain access to certain things because they are categorized as something. And so it gives them a benefit. So that's the way that they are trying to offset their numbers and their lack of reproduction and procreation. So I would just say to all of our supporters and listeners, be mindful of that, because just because we popping out babies and we doing certain things and we're gaining certain accesses financially and in other aspects of life, whether it be entrepreneurship or whatever, you still got to be careful of the dirty game that they play. And they will do anything to keep their numbers, and our numbers. So then they always feel as the superior and us as the inferior. And that's just what I wanted to say.
Well, little history lesson on that. You brought that up. You got to think about that. When the Italians had started migrating here, they did the same thing with them, because Italians wasn't seen as being the same. And then all of a sudden, a little shift happened where it was like, oh no, y'all come along with us. Same thing happened. Same thing happened with the people that came from Ireland. They was all them dusty, nasty. They started working with the black people. Then all of a sudden, like, no, don't do that. No, you go ahead and check that Caucasian, that white box also with us. No, don't do that. You come over here and you play with us. Now, what I've heard recently is they trying to get Chinese people. They trying to get them on their side to do the same. I don't know, because Chinese people they stick together tough. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull that with those guys. But yeah, they the first time that's been tried to work out. But yeah, they moving on to our Chinese people and trying to pull them over too.
Well, I'm not gonna say Chinese because that's a little insensitive, but the Asian.
Sorry. I'm sorry. With the research I said, they said Chinese. My bad. So don't ridicule you, boy. I'm just going off what I read.
So the Asian community, they are attacking the Asian community, but to be honest, some of the Asian community is going along with it and is accepting that privilege. Not all of them, but some of them. So again, that's what I say. You just got to be mindful and you got to be careful of the games that they play, and you got to be aware of the game that you're in. You can't be playing checkers when they playing chess. You can't be playing badminton when they playing tennis. So you got to be in the game and you got to know the game. So that's why I always preach educate yourself, and not on the formal sense always, even though I think formal is important, but on every aspect of it, be educated.
Yeah, and don't be surprised when you see Uncle Ruckus and Clayton Bigsby also claiming is that they are there just to be real with you.
Got that reverse villain line go.
Yeah. So don't be surprised when man, that's Nathaniel. Yeah, Nathaniel is considered himself Caucasian. So if he want to play the game, hey, get in it like EA. You feel me? Do what you got to do to survive out here. So yeah, don't be surprised. But yeah, man, that's all I got, man.
Flake, you got anything else? If not, I'll jump into this Black Business Minute.
Nah, I ain't got nothing else, man. We done had a lot of fun with this. We done dropped some facts, and we done had a lot of fun with this subject tonight, man.
Yeah. So our Black Business Minute for this week is manna juice. Just like manna from heaven, manna juice products are a gift to consumers. Located in Mansfield on the Arlington/Grand Prairie border, and made from 100% organic produce, our cold-pressed juices, fresh smoothies, and acai bowls are handcrafted to accentuate flavor and maximize the natural benefits of each ingredient. Our cleanness will nourish and replenish you with the necessary sustenance to fuel your body, mind, and spirit with nutrients, and natural vitamins for days on end. So if you're looking for a mental boost, a midweek treat, or just a reason to smile, let our family-owned and operated juice bar share the gifts with you. Make it taste great, make it simple, make it affordable, make it for everyone. That's Manna Juice. So you can find Manna Juice at drinkmannajuice.com. So it's DRINKMANNAJUICE.com. And then they also have Instagram, Facebook, and I want to say Twitter. No, just Instagram and Facebook. And so you can find them on 3806 East Bar Street, Suite 128, Mansfield, Texas, 76063 in the United States, of course, if you're in the DFW Metroplex. And again, just to give you a little bit more information, the number to contact them is 682-400-8059. So that's 682-400-8059. And if you want to just email them, you can email them at info@drinkmannajuice.com. And that's our Supremely Black minute for right now. Manna Juice.
Salute.
Salute to them, dope. Our Supremely Black Person Week is going to be Nia DaCosta. She is an American film director and writer. She is the first Black woman to have a film going #1 for cinema screening as being a Black female director or Black woman director for her movie that had just come out, Candyman. So shout out to her for that film, and it has jumped up to #1 at the Billboard. I mean, not Billboard, but for the movie screenings. With Candyman being produced, she was born November 8th of 1989 in Brooklyn, New York. Her education stems from New York University School of Arts and Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. She at first, she originally just wanted to be a writer, but after see her first movie, Apocalypse Now, it sparked her interest in the filmmaking. She is responsible for directing and writing the movie Little Woods that came out in 2018, directing and writing Candyman of 2021, and been the director of a new movie that's going to come out called The Marvels in 2022. Her previous work for short films, she was the director and writer for the 2009 film The Black Girl Dies Last. She was director and producer for Night and Day that came out in 2013. And she was a writer for 2 short films that came out in 2014 called Celeste and Livelihood. So shout out to that queen for her movie role, her director and writing for Candyman, which is now #1 at the box office, and being the first Black woman, female director and writer to hit #1 at the box office initially in the first week.
Dang, so Ava DuVernay didn't even do that?
Nah, this is not Candyman, not her film.
No, I'm saying Ava DuVernay didn't even #1.
Not initially. She hit #1, but not like the first week, like straight out the gate, #1.
Okay.
Hers was like, after a couple weeks, it rose to be #1.
Okay.
On her film.
And I got one more Supremely Black Person of the Week.
All right.
Rest in heaven, King. Rest in peace, King. To Michael K. Williams. As we all know, the actor seen
Omar
from The Wire, yeah. The actor seen an unforeseen death. He was dealing with some issues and some demons that he couldn't quite control, but that does not diminish the legacy, the impact that he had on our culture, our community, and our people. So I just wanted to salute to him. I don't have none of his accolades. I don't have none of his things that he did from his career, but I do want to acknowledge that he was a brilliant, a phenomenal, and a great being, soul, and person. And I would be remiss if I didn't give him his honor, even though it's too late. And I know we try to get the saying in, giving the flowers while they do, but we never know when our higher being, our maker and creator is gonna bring us home. But I just wanted to say salute to you, rest in power, King, rest in peace, and we hope to continue to do the things that you started to do, that you were doing, and that we follow in your footsteps and make you proud.
Salute, salute.
Yeah, salute to him from all the things I've heard. Man, he was a kind heart man, gentle soul. That pretty much gave us all. I know he caught some flack for playing certain roles as being a homosexual man. And people asked him, you know, why would you do that? And he was like, shoot, man, for the right check at that time, I was broke. So you just never know what you're gonna do. I need to eat. So, you know, he said I locked into that role of Omar. I locked into some other roles and I had to go to those dark places, and he knocked those roles out, man. He is something special. He was discovered by Tupac at first, the kind of playing the film as being his little brother. So man, shout out to him. Rest easy, man. People be careful, man, because it's crazy out here. It is truly crazy out here. So rest in peace to him, man.
Yes, sir. You could
So
close
with
it
that
up.
being said, to all our queens out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side, let them know you are a queen. For all our kings out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side, let them know we are a king. We not 3/5 of anything. In America, we want our 4 acres of the mute. We supremely black, and we out.